May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. The Chinese community in Memphis is working to chronicle and preserve its history here, which you may be surprised to learn goes back 150 years. Stefan Reels is live on Beale Street tonight. And Stefan, I understand that's where it all started, with a lot of Chinese-owned businesses there.
That's right, Richard. Back in the 1920s and the 1930s, there were a number of Chinese businesses here on Beale Street. But today, there's very little record to show for it. All we got are a newspaper article, some photos, and the sign you see right here next to me. And the Chinese Historical Society, they're working to preserve it and make sure we know.
Our Memphis history starts in 1873.
According to Emmy Dunn, this is the earliest we can trace Chinese history, coming from a laundry ad in a newspaper. Dunn says a lot of Chinese immigrants came to the Mid-South once work completed on the Transcontinental Railroad.
They were still building railroads in the South in Texas, so lots of Chinese came down here.
Several immigrants began opening laundromats because it didn't require a lot of money. The first store opened in 1880, the first restaurant in 1894, in and around Beale Street.
And so you have a much more diverse customer base. During segregation time, that's where black people can get some service.
At one point, so many Chinese businesses were on Beale Street, a local newspaper referred to that part of it as Chinatown.
Consisted of a few stores, grocery stores, 2 cafes, and laundries. It was not a Chinatown per se, as you would think of as in San Francisco or New York.
The Chinese business influence reached its height in the 1920s and 30s, but it slowly began to leave Beale Street after Dr. Martin Luther King's assassination.
Really, the downtown started to decline after that. And then, really it started to trickle to the suburbs.
Today, not a lot of that story remains. That's why the Chinese Historical Society of Memphis and the Mid-South are trying to preserve that history and keep it alive through a new photo exhibit later this month.
People in the Chinese community don't even know about our history because many of our newer immigrants came over here over the last 20, 30 years. The United States is such a melting pot. It is really everybody have a story.
And Richard, that photo exhibit will be on display at the Chinese Community Center later this month. They're hoping to show the impact that Chinese professors, artists, and scientists had on the Memphis community over the past 150 years. Live on Beale Street, I'm Stefan Reels.